I'm going to show you how to add error handling to your workflows and get notified immediately if they fail. The reason you're going to want to start using error handling in your workflows is if you have an active workflow. We could go to executions and go through all of these execution steps and test it that way and see errors through that. But when our workflow is active, we have no way to understand the errors or get notified of what's going on. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do today. So we're going to have this workflow and we're going to get notified when any type of error goes wrong with this. So as an example here, I'm going to turn my workflow on to active. And in this example, we have this start results Appify node. And in the URL, I don't have any correct URL. It's going to error out here. And we're going to turn this on to active. It is going to log into my Google Sheets. As you see, it'll keep populating. And this runs every 10 seconds. So it's going to populate this Google Sheet every 10 seconds. And after that, we get a bunch of emails here. And so there's been an error in one of your workflows. And then it gives us the issue as well as the URL to the workflow that is not working. And this is the exact workflow that was erroring right here. So I'll just close that. And what else does it give us? We added the date and time, and we can add some more things. But that is essentially how you use error handling in N8N, and we're going to get into how to build out this system. So all this system is an error trigger, and then we add in a Google Sheets node to add the information. And then with that information from the Google Sheet, we send ourselves an email, and that way, wherever you are, you just get a notification, and either you can get it before your client sees it, or just for your own personal or business use, you'll just know whenever your workflows are not working. And so then you know you got to go fix them and get them back up and running. That's all that is. We're going to go over this right now. So I'm going to still use this workflow as an example. Okay, guys, so first thing we're going to do is add an error trigger. And this will allow us to get any errors from workflows that we set. So for example, if we have multiple different active workflows, we can send all of the errors into this trigger, and then we can output them into a Google Sheet or something similar. So after this, we're going to add a Google Sheet, and we will go append row in a sheet. Now from here, we're going to connect our credentials. So Google OAuth, I have a separate video on this. If you haven't done this, I will link it right now. And if you have, then we'll just keep rolling here. So once you do that, we can select from any of the documents here. What we're going to do now is come over to sheets.new, and let's just create ourselves a new Google Sheet. The first node is going to be workflow. We'll go workflow, and then we'll go timestamp. So that'll be the date and time. And then we'll go node. And the node will just be the actual node in the workflow. So it would be the start results. This is the one that errored out. So that is where that information will go. So we'll make these bold here, node, and then we'll go error message. And we'll fill these out later in N8N, error message, and URL. Okay. And so once you have this Google Sheet, we're going to come back over into this workflow here, the error handling workflow, and we'll just name this error handling workflow. And let's see what we got in our Google Sheet here. So we'll go choose, and then let's actually name this error handling Google Sheet. And now we know where to output all of our errors into. So let's go over here, and it's not there right now, so we will just refresh it, and we'll pull this back up again, and there you go, error handling Google Sheet. So we'll select this, we'll select sheet number 1, and now what we're going to do is just test our error trigger. So if you go fetch test event, you can see it pulls in some information. This is just random information. So if we want to pull information and errors from any of our active workflows, what we have to do is remember the name of this workflow. So it's error handling workflow. We'll come over to a main workflow, an active workflow. So we'll make this active in a second. We'll go settings. And as you can see here in error workflow, and now we're going to switch it over to error handling workflow, which will be this Google Sheet right here. So now anytime we get an error, it's going to send back into this workflow right here. Okay. So let's test that out. Let's run this, turn it on, make it active, and let's see what we got here. So if we go to executions here, this will start populating right here. So here we go, July 7th. That's the date. Yep, 17:58. That's the time. And okay, we're actually erroring right here as well. So we'll add one value to send just so this gets out of our way here. And let's see right here. We'll go to error trigger first, see what we got. Okay guys, so what we're going to do here is just map out one of these columns. So at least one value has to be added under values to send. So let's just add one of these right now. And error message, we will pull one of these here. So message, execute step. And let's see. Okay, so that populated there. And we'll go back here and got this on. This will be erroring. We'll save this, give it a refresh, go to error trigger. And let's see our executions here. Okay, we're getting some information here. Okay, so here we go. Here's and they keep coming in every few seconds or so. And so I'm just going to turn this off. And now that we have a prime example, we'll get into it. So the workflow, there's the ID and there's the name. So Appify lead gen, which is exactly this workflow right here. So this errored right at this node. And now we have all the information in this error handling workflow here. So let's just go through some of the data here. We've got the ID, we've got the URL. So if we copy that in, that'll be this exact Appify lead gen URL right there. And so let's go through some of the stuff. So this is just some of the information with this inside of the scraping node. What else do we got here? We've got the different, okay, we've got the node. Okay. So we've got a bunch of information. It's all pulled from the Appify lead gen workflow. And now that we have the errors, all we have to do is add them into our Google Sheet, into our append row in Sheet. And so we're going to do that right now. So now what we have to do is go to our append row in Sheet and add some of these values to send. Now that we've pulled in the data from the error trigger. For workflow name, we will come down here and add name right under workflow, and it will say example workflow for now until we actually have some active data coming in from this workflow. Timestamp, we'll just go expression and we'll just go money sign now to bring in the date. The node, we will grab the last node that was executed, and for the error message, there we go. Error message right there, and the URL, we will just pull this and it's right under execution. And so now that we have this, we will execute the step, and this just populated. Let's do another test here just to make sure. So there's another test, and we've got some example data in here from the error trigger, and now we will actually pull in some of the live data from the Appify lead gen workflow. So in order to do that, we'll save this and we will come over and we will make it active. And so now we're going to be pulling in this data into our error trigger and into our workflow right here. And there you go. So I'm going to turn this off so it doesn't keep populating the sheet. So we've got Appify lead gen. That is the workflow name. We've got the time and date. This is the node that is not working properly, and this is the issue. It's the invalid URL, and here is the URL for the actual workflow that is not working properly. And so there you go. It brings us right here. And so we can debug it from here. Next step is to get notified. So now that we have the Google Sheet that's being populated with all of our errors, all we want to do now is add in a notification system. And so in this example, we're going to be adding a Gmail node. So fairly simple. Add in a Gmail node here, and we'll go send a message. And from here, you'll have to connect your Google OAuth credentials like previously with the Google Sheets. And once that's done, you are rolling from there on. So add in your email address here. In subject, we'll just go, hey, one of your workflows has an error. Okay. And expression, and we'll add in some JSON here just so we can add in some variables. So we'll add in the workflow name, then we'll go Shift Enter. We'll add in the time and date, Shift Enter, and then you can just add in whatever information you want here. And let's just add it all just for this example. So we get the most data as possible. And so turn the email type into a text, and the message we will add this into the message, and we'll add a different subject. So that will be our message. And you can sort it out like this. And for the subject, we'll just go workflow has errored, and then we will add in, what will we add in? Let's add in the name, the workflow name, and we'll add in the error message. We'll add both of those, sort these out a little bit, and we'll test this out. And that should be it. So we got our message, we got our subject, and we're sending it to our personal email address. Let's execute this. And I just heard my phone go off, and so we should get an email right here. So workflow's errored, and then it brings in the example workflow and the error message. So this is just some test data, and that is how the output will look every time. And now let's do a live example where we make this active, and this will send us an email. So if I come over to the Google Sheet, it's going to populate right there. It gives us all the information, and now should get another email with the active and live data. So let's refresh this, and then we got our email here. So I'm going to stop this workflow just so I don't get 10 emails. And here we go. So workflow is errored, and it lists the name of the workflow, and this is the error. What is that? The error message. And then, hey, one of your workflows has an error. It gives us the time and date, and then the URL and the issue. And so we'll select that. And now we can debug this from here, and it brings us right to the issue with our workflow. And there you have it, guys. If you're looking to download this error handling workflow for free, just head on over to my Skool, and you can find it in the classroom and build automation sections where you can go ahead and download all of my free templates. Okay. And so that is the error handling tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.